Everyone, let's take a few minutes to talk about ChatGPT, the AI tool that's changing how people write, code, learn, and work. If you've heard the name but never used it, don't worry. I'll break it down in simple terms. So what is ChatGPT? It's an AI chatbot made by OpenAI. You type in anything, a question, a task, even a random idea, and it replies in plain language. It's not just some robot with yes or no answers. It understands context and gives detailed replies. Some people use it like a writing assistant, some like a coding partner, and others just ask questions out of curiosity. And the best part? It works right from your browser. Let's get a bit technical, but I'll keep it beginner-friendly. ChatGPT works by predicting words based on patterns it learned from huge amounts of data, like books, websites, and code. It doesn't think like a human or search Google. Instead, it uses its training to guess what's most helpful to say next. Imagine it like autocomplete, but supercharged. You type, "Build a web page with a contact form," and it fills out the whole HTML code block for you, even with styling. In this video, I gave it a prompt to build a landing page for a tech startup with animations, responsive design, and modern layout. ChatGPT not only understood the task, but also provided clean, copy-paste-ready HTML code. No setup, no complicated steps. Just type and get results. So what can you actually use ChatGPT for? Short answer, a lot. Want help writing an email? Done. Need a blog idea? It gives you 10. Need a JavaScript function? It writes it for you. Want a summary of a boring article? No problem. Need a resume? Just describe your experience. Whether you're a student, a small business owner, a freelancer, or just curious, there's a use case for you. And even if you're new to tech, it guides you step by step. You can ask follow-up questions like, "What does this code do?" Or, "Can you make this mobile-friendly?" And it'll adjust the output. It's like having a personal coach, writer, and coder all in one. Now let's be real. ChatGPT is powerful, but it's not perfect.
It doesn't know current events. If you ask for live data, like today's weather or stock prices, it can't help. And sometimes it gives answers that look correct but aren't, especially in complex math or code. So always verify what it gives you, especially if you're working on something important. Think of it like a smart intern. Super helpful, but you still need to review their work.
Also, keep your prompts clear. Don't just say, "Write code." Tell it what you want. Make a dark mode responsive web page for a gym business. That's when it really shines. The better your prompt, the better the result.
Let's talk a bit more about how to actually get started with ChatGPT and the difference between the free version and the paid one. So the good news is ChatGPT is available completely free. You just need to go to chat.openai.com, create an account. You can even use your Gmail to log in, and you're ready to go. No installation, no technical setup. It works right in your browser, on your phone, tablet, or PC. Now, the free version uses GPT 3.5, which is fast, smart, and good enough for most everyday tasks like writing, explaining concepts, helping with homework, or generating basic code. If you're just starting out, this is more than enough to explore what AI can do. But if you want even better performance, there's a paid version called ChatGPT Plus, which gives you access to GPT-4, the more advanced model. It's not just a small upgrade. GPT-4 handles longer conversations better, makes fewer mistakes, writes more structured content, and is noticeably better at coding and understanding complex prompts. The Plus plan costs around $20 per month. If you're using it for business, studying, freelancing, or content creation, trust me, the productivity boost is worth every cent. But again, you don't need to pay to get started. The free version is a great entry point. And once you start realizing how much time and energy this tool saves, you'll know if upgrading makes sense for your workflow. Now, before we wrap up this part, here's a final thought. AI tools like ChatGPT aren't here to replace you. They're here to amplify what you can already do. They're like power tools. If you know how to use them well, they help you work smarter, faster, and with more confidence. So whether you're a student, a developer, a content creator, or someone just exploring what AI can do, ChatGPT is a game changer. All right, That's the end of our deep dive into ChatGPT. Let's head back to the video and see how the next AI tool compares.
All right, now we're moving on to a lesser known but very promising AI tool called DeepSeek. If you've been deep in the AI or developer space lately, you might have heard about it. If not, here's the lowdown. DeepSeek is designed primarily for developers. While other AIs try to be chatty, design savvy, or super general purpose, DeepSeek goes all in on one thing: writing code and writing it fast. It's trained heavily on code bases, especially open source ones, which means it's really good at understanding and generating structured working code, not just HTML or CSS. It can handle front-end, back-end, frameworks, and even documentation generation. It even understands TypeScript, Python, Go, and Rust quite well. So yeah, it's no lightweight. Now, when I gave DeepSeek the same prompt I gave ChatGPT, create an advanced HTML website landing page for a tech startup, I wasn't expecting it to throw in color theory or fancy UI talk, and true to form, it didn't. This is where DeepSeek shows you who it's made for. It doesn't waste time asking follow-up questions or offering alternatives. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. You paste in your request and boom, you get code. It's kind of like the back-end engineer on your team who doesn't talk during meetings but crushes every sprint with bug-free output. DeepSeek is for users who already know what they want and don't need fluff.
Now let's talk about who DeepSeek is really for. If you're a beginner, you might feel a little overwhelmed. It doesn't really walk you through the logic. You won't get UI suggestions like, use a blue gradient here, or this font feels modern. It just dives into layout, structure, and logic. But if you're a student, hobby coder, or developer who just needs fast, clean code, DeepSeek is a powerhouse. It's incredibly useful for creating boilerplate projects, prototyping, and testing ideas. The best part is, it doesn't hallucinate much. What it gives you usually runs with minimal tweaks. Also, because it's lightweight and focused, responses are fast, even on lower-end systems or browsers. Some devs are even using it inside VS Code extensions or locally hosted tools. That makes it a great fit if you work offline or want to integrate AI into your existing dev flow without switching tools. Now let's talk about what it actually produced when I gave it the prompt. In about a few seconds, DeepSeek gave us a fully structured HTML landing page. It includes a nav bar, hero section, about us, services, and a contact form, all styled with basic CSS. The UI is white background, black text, very clean and corporate looking. No glowing fonts, just solid, usable business class structure. It's minimal, but works perfectly if you're targeting a startup, agency, or client who prefers professional and distraction-free designs. All right, that's DeepSeek in action. Let's move forward and see what the next AI tool brings to the table.
All right, the next AI on our list is Claude, created by a company called Anthropic. You might have heard less about this one compared to OpenAI's ChatGPT or DeepSeek, but Claude is making waves, especially when it comes to how it handles conversations and reasoning in a safer, more structured way.
Claude is named after Claude Shannon, the father of information theory, and it's designed to be helpful, honest, and harmless. That means it tries to reduce hallucinations, stay grounded in facts, and avoid risky or misleading outputs. So, if you're worried about AI giving weird or wrong results, Claude is built with extra safeguards in place. Now, when it comes to coding, Claude isn't marketed as a hardcore developer tool like DeepSeek, but don't underestimate it. Claude's strength lies in its ability to understand detailed prompts, break down problems step by step, and output well-documented code, which is super useful if you're still learning or need explanations alongside your code. So here's what I did. I gave Claude the same prompt we've been using. Create an advanced HTML website landing page for a tech startup, including a modern UI with responsive design, navigation bar, hero section, about section, contact form, and animated elements. What happened next was interesting. Claude didn't rush. Instead of immediately dumping a block of HTML, it actually analyzed the prompt, rephrased it for clarity, and explained how it would approach the task. This is where Claude stands out. It's like a thoughtful dev mentor. It doesn't just give code, it tells you why it's doing things a certain way. For beginner developers or non-coders, this is super helpful. It's not just, here's your answer. It's, here's how we'll build it and why. That said, this does slow things down a bit. Claude takes longer to respond, and sometimes it needs a follow-up prompt to output the full code if it stops halfway. But the trade-off? The structure and documentation are often better. The code it produces tends to be semantic, accessible, and readable, good for collaboration or handoffs. Now for the result itself. And here's where it gets interesting. What Claude gave us is a sleek, professional landing page with a dark purple gradient background, a vibrant headline, and a feature block labeled lightning fast with a pink rocket icon. The font choice is bold and futuristic, giving it a next-gen startup feel. The content is centered and visually balanced, and it highlights the key value proposition without clutter. It's almost identical to ChatGPT's output in structure, but the color scheme and aesthetic choices give it a unique flair. A bit less edgy, a bit more polished, like a refined version of ChatGPT's layout. All right, that wraps up Claude. 3 down, 2 more to go. Let's jump to the next AI and see how it compares.
All right, now we're trying out Microsoft Copilot, the AI assistant built right into Microsoft's ecosystem. If you've used tools like Word, Excel, or even GitHub, chances are you've seen Copilot or one of its variants in action. What makes Microsoft Copilot unique is how it's deeply integrated into productivity and developer tools. You can use it inside VS Code, inside GitHub, or even in Microsoft 365 apps, making it a versatile assistant for both coding and content creation.
For this test, I used the same prompt we've been using. Create an advanced HTML website landing page for a tech startup with modern UI, responsive design, navbar, hero section, about, contact, and animated elements. Unlike the others, Copilot doesn't return the whole solution in one go. It tends to offer pieces of the code as suggestions, one block at a time. You'll need to interact more, accept suggestions, or ask for specific parts like add a contact form or create hero section styling. This gives you more control, but also means it needs clearer instructions and more manual effort to get full results.
Now let's talk about the actual result. The HTML page Copilot generated is simple. We've got a clean blue background, a basic hero section with bold white text, and a bright orange Get in Touch button. If you want a fully polished layout, you'll need to ask more targeted questions or write detailed prompts block by block. All right, that's Copilot. Let's check out our final AI tool next. Next in our AI comparison journey, we turn our focus to Google Gemini, one of the most anticipated evolutions in the generative AI space. Known for its deep integration across the Google ecosystem, Gemini is Google's answer to multimodal, context-aware artificial intelligence, designed specifically for creative workflows, complex analysis, and developer-centric solutions. Gemini combines the power of Google DeepMind's foundational models with real-time internet awareness and an impressive ability to understand context. It's engineered not just for simple prompts, but for advanced task management across documents, spreadsheets, code bases, and even multimedia. For professionals working in dynamic environments, it acts as a powerful assistant with seamless access to your digital workspace, be it Gmail, Docs, or Google Cloud. When it comes to website creation, Gemini excels at both simplicity and structure. With just a prompt like, create a modern landing page for a startup with responsive design and testimonial sections, Gemini can deliver an output that includes HTML, CSS, and even JavaScript, all organized and ready to deploy. More importantly, it explains the structure of the code, recommends frameworks like Bootstrap or Tailwind CSS if needed, and often includes live examples. It's particularly helpful if you're working on a Chromebook or within Google Colab, where previews can be generated automatically for rapid prototyping. For beginner developers or business professionals with minimal technical knowledge, Gemini offers a safe, supportive learning curve. It doesn't just give you code, it guides you with clarification, styling tips, and semantic recommendations. Whether you want a full page or just a component like a navigation bar, testimonial slider, or a responsive grid, Gemini delivers output that's clean, readable, and structured according to industry standards. Another key strength is the developer experience. Gemini takes a conversational approach. It may ask you to clarify your goals before generating a solution. Want a mobile-first design? Prefer light themes or dark mode toggles? Need your layout optimized for accessibility? Gemini incorporates these without overcomplicating the code. While it may not be as open-ended as some experimental AI coders, Gemini makes up for it with its precision, safety, and deep understanding of the entire Google Cloud environment. This makes it ideal for business users, startup founders, and anyone building customer-facing apps with long-term scalability in mind. Now let's review the actual output Gemini generated for my prompt. I asked it to build a testimonial section for a technology startup site. As you can see in the result on screen, Gemini produced a clean, minimalist layout featuring user quotes, initials-based profile icons, job roles, and subtle card styling. The color palette was pleasant and professional, the spacing and alignment were on point, and the responsiveness worked seamlessly on mobile, all without me having to ask for those adjustments. Compared to other AI platforms I tested, Gemini's results stood out for its polish and attention to UI detail. It wasn't overly complicated, which is a big win for beginners. The design was modern and readable, using smart spacing, readable fonts, and good contrast. While it didn't go deep into advanced animations or JavaScript interactivity, the base structure was solid and easy to expand. In summary, Google Gemini delivers a very usable, highly structured, and presentation-ready experience for developers at any stage. Whether you're a newcomer trying to build your first web component or a business professional creating customer interfaces, Gemini offers reliability, clarity, and integration that fits into the Google ecosystem perfectly. It's not trying to be flashy, it's trying to be useful. And in the ever-evolving world of AI-assisted development, that makes Gemini a serious contender.